Hey, this is Artie Astor with episode 12 of You Tell Me. And this one is kind of going to be a little bit Pink Floyd specific, so don't mind me. I'm going to play a clip of an interview with Richard Wright. He's the keyboard player for Pink Floyd, one of the founding members of Pink Floyd. And he says something really interesting, and it really made me think because I know the type of keyboard player Richard Wright is. And, well, you know what? Let's watch the clip, and then afterwards, I'll ask the question, and then you can tell me.
What kind of band did you think of yourselves as? I mean,
As you know, we started off playing blues. I guess R&B and blues.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It just grew. I mean, it's like maybe if you do a painting and you start off with a splodge of red, some people might have a clear idea how it's going to end up. Other people just, it grows. And so I had no idea. My love of music then was most definitely jazz, although I was brought up on classical music because my parents were very keen on classical music. My mother played the piano and all that. But jazz, the 50s, and the Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk, all these people, that was my love at the time. And that was when I was listening to jazz when I was in school. But I didn't think I'd ever be, well, maybe I wanted to be a jazz musician actually. But the way things turned out, it didn't happen.
So there's a lot there for me to unpack that I actually really like. Number one, I never really considered Pink Floyd a rhythm and blues type of band. Now, blues I could see. In fact, a lot of their earlier works, and especially Richard Wright's piano solos, are right out of the blues scale. And I can see them starting off as blues, kind of like the Rolling Stones did. I also thought it was interesting that he said he loved jazz, that he was listening to Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk. What I really found interesting was he said that there was a moment where he thought that he could be a jazz musician. So what if, you tell me now, what if Richard Wright said, you know what? This Pink Floyd band, they're a sham. I don't want to join them. I'm going to do my own thing. I am going to be a jazz artist. Do you think that Richard Wright, knowing what he's done with Pink Floyd, do you think that Richard Wright would have had success as a jazz artist? Now, I know success is measured in a lot of different ways. A lot of people say, well, as long as you're content with it, you're successful. I'm not talking about that type of success. I'm talking about, do you think we would know the name Richard Wright if he had decided to become a jazz pianist? And I ask that because if you listen to all the music he did with Pink Floyd, there are a lot of jazz chords, suspended fourths, minor nines, major sevens, minor sevens, all the, sixes, all these crazy chord voicings that are really jazz chord voicings that he and Dave Gilmour have put in the music. But if you've seen or heard a jazz pianist, they are extremely dexterous, and usually they play the piano at a speed that most pop musicians don't play at. I'm not saying that he couldn't have developed that skill. He probably could have. When I was younger, I got into jazz and I was able to solo for a while, and then I kind of slowed down and then started writing compositions where I would sing and play, and I focused more on songwriting and less on playing. So I don't have the chops that I had when I was 22, 23, because I stopped playing jazz and got more into a progressive, dark blues type of style. So that's my question to you. And no generic answers either. Oh, of course. Richard Wright is great. He could have been anything. Or, well, anyone can do anything if you put your mind to it. I understand that those answers exist, but I'm asking Pink Floyd fans, knowing what you know of what Richard Wright has done, knowing what you know of everything that he did in his career and how his mind works as a piano player, as a keyboardist, and as a songwriter, do you think if he never joined Pink Floyd and he decided he wanted to be a jazz musician, do you think you would even know of the name Richard Wright today? You tell me.